From the shores of Malibu, where the waves are pumping, to the streets of London, England, where the UFC is coming, we are live. This is It's Time Radio, the show where we talk about what you think. You're afraid to voice. Do not worry. We'll voice it for you. We talk about everything. This is No Holds Barred Radio, folks. Sex, drugs, rock and roll, Ukraine, politics, film, TV. There's so much to talk about. And being that there's so much to talk about, we're not going to have a special guest today. I wanted to talk face to face with my partner and producer, TJ Santis, because there's a few interesting and serious subjects here to talk about, as well as some light subjects, because we do like to rant, rave, and we do like to laugh on its time. So let's try and achieve all 3, 4, 5 of those. I forget how many I mentioned. But TJ, what's up? How are you?
Not much. Things are crazy. I, like you, am traveling all over the place. And it's crazy to think about you heading back to Europe. Like, you haven't been to Europe in, how long? When was the last time you were in the UK even?
If you want to consider going to Abu Dhabi, is Abu Dhabi considered Europe?
No, it's the Middle East.
The Middle East. So no, I have not been to Europe in over 2. I've not been to London probably in about 3. And it's starting to pick up. You know, we have shows being talked about for Singapore or Brazil coming up and all that, but international travel. And I'm so excited. And now I'm so kind of like bummed. And I'll tell you why, because as soon as I open up my news stories this morning, it's telling me that the UK is blowing up with COVID again. Yeah. And I just got off a meeting with my partners in London, wanting to go see my energy product, and my cologne partners and everything. And we've been working together for 2 years, and I've not met them in person. I've only seen them on Zoom meetings. And now we were going to do a bunch of shoot and film. Their whole production crew is down with COVID.
Yeah. Knock on wood that everything goes well. And, there's no sort of complications with actually executing the event from London. But we've been talking about it forever, Bruce. It's so weird. Like the last 2 years, it feels like it's been forever, while simultaneously feeling like it's gone by in the blink of an eye. And I miss things being normal.
Do we even know what normal is anymore?
No, we really don't.
Normal's taken on a whole new precedent. For me, my own normality, as much as I've been socializing a lot more lately and going out and feeling more comfortable and being protective at the same time and enjoying my social life, it's like it's different. It's a new norm. Yeah. And it'll hopefully get back to a regular norm. But, here's the thing. 5 steps forward, 7 steps backward. Just in the last 3 days, Now China is saying they're facing the worst COVID outbreak since 2020.
I know.
And remember one key thing. To my knowledge, it all started in China and spread. Now we're back to the base of where it started again, and they're complaining about the worst outbreak ever. What the frig does that mean for the next few months?
No idea, Bruce. No idea. And that's the hard part, because like you talk about being more social and getting back to at least somewhat of a normality. And, I feel bad for you, because you're one of the friendliest people in the world. And I know that it's your nature to go shake hands and take photos and say yes to all of that. And it's at a risk to not only your health, but your family's health. And I also know that it's a risk to the people that are seeing you for these snapshots in time, because they think that if you say no to them, that you're just this a-hole, right? That's you always. And that's not the case.
I'll do it in a way that hopefully they don't think I'm an a-hole, but I understand that chance is there. They're out there, no mask, in a crowd, enjoying, thinking everybody's got to be the same. I want to say this to my amazing UK London fans. I can't wait to come see you. I can't work for you. I can't wait for the exciting show that's planned for you. But I need you to understand and respect my position. I will be masked. I will be taking off when I get in the octagon. I will not be shaking hands. I will not be, holding shoulder to shoulder for pictures. My deal is turn around, take the picture. I'm behind you. Yeah, get that done. But please understand, the last thing I am is rude. The first thing I am is safe.
Right. And that's the thing too. It's not just for your safety, it's for their safety as well. It's a two-way street. You're not trying to keep your distance away from them because you're just worried about yourself. You're worried for them as well.
Well, another thing too, respect my position, understand that I'm taking my time out, and dutifully so and lovingly so, to leave tomorrow on Wednesday, to fly to London, to get there Thursday, to come back Sunday night. Mm-hmm. Normally my routine is there and I'm back to normal. No, I've got a quarantine now when I get back.
Yep.
I have a show the very next week. My whole next week is going to be selective socialization and quarantine. Why? Because I have to.
Yeah.
Not just because I'm going to jolly old England and London, but because I'm flying in a tube for 13 hours each way.
Yeah, and that's the thing too. I've been traveling a lot like you lately. You get on those commercial flights and they are packed to the walls. Like I came back from Cancun yesterday, and they were offering $700 for anyone to not get on the plane. Doing the travel voucher stuff, and it's like, all right, we're back to that now.
Yeah, get your 700, then pay your 500 for a hotel room, and your 200 eat dinner. There's your 700. Okay.
All right, no, 100%, and that's the other thing too. These airline prices are starting to go up big time because of gas. Like the fuel cost is like I don't know when the last time you got gas was, but I was at the pump the other day, and I made the decision to not fill up completely at $5.15 a gallon, and turns out I should have, because the next time I got gas, it was $5.75 a gallon. So. Crazy world.
Well, I'm premium gas. We know what that is. $5.75. And my car, I think.
I've seen it at $6.15. That's the normal down here in Orange County. $6.15 for premium. It's
like $130 or $120 for me to fill my tank.
Yeah.
So anyway, I'm not complaining. And you know what? I'm not complaining about the trip to London, which I'm looking forward to, because the bottom line is people are suffering in Ukraine. People are suffering worse. Even down to fighters putting their blood, sweat, and tears on the line Saturday night for all of our entertainment. There's always somebody that's got it worse. Okay.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. I'm not trying to say woe is me, but it's an interesting time to be alive and look around.
Very interesting time. Sincerely. God, just when I was getting back to just socializing as normal and everything else.
And Bruce, it's not going to stop. It's just not. There's no signs of this ever really being like, hey, remember COVID? Like, we're never going to be like, remember COVID? We always will. I mean, it's going to be something that's, forever,
remember
I guess.
The article that came out on COVID today. Remember the article came out. Anyway, this is the case. All right. So let's just hope for the best, as we always say. Now let's talk about something that's a little more serious. And not that wasn't serious, but it's like we have a lot of serious stuff.
Yeah.
The Ukraine situation breaks my heart every day I open up the news. Every day I see innocent people being killed, murdered.
It hasn't progressed, Bruce.
It hasn't progressed. It's progressed, but it hasn't progressed.
Not in the right way. Like
progressed to worse.
Right. Yeah. I thought at this point there would be some sort of diplomacy, and there would be some sort of middle ground that would be brokered to where, people weren't being, killed in residential areas. It's heartbreaking.
Yep. Very heartbreaking. And, when I see stories, even, how much an animal lover I am.
Mm-hmm.
And you see these stories about just the rescue operations to rescue the dogs and the cats from the bombed cities.
Yeah. Yeah. And
I mean, if some of this, and seeing, families under covered rugs because they've died, have been killed, amongst that, if you haven't shed a tear reading some of this stuff, you are a cold human being.
I saw a stat that said of the 1 point some odd million people that have, taken refuge or tried to leave the country of Ukraine, something like 45% of them are traveling with a small animal. And
you see people carrying 80-pound dogs.
Yeah. And what's funny about that, I saw a meme that was like, next time your friend says they need to get rid of their dog or cat because they're moving, tell them that, people in wartime are able to still bring their pets. I'm not trying to shame anybody. I remember Sammy was shaming me because, I had to unfortunately get rid of my cats when I moved. But it is true. If there's any situation or any sort of, kind of fun thing to take away from a horrible, horrible situation, it is to see what that bond is between humans and their pets. And, they're making it work. God bless them for going out there and trying to, make their animals as safe as they can. But you're right, Bruce, there are so many animals that are just, stuck and forced to be left behind as well.
Well, we talk about the worst stories. It's the old adage, I cried because I had no shoes. Then I saw a man who had no feet. It's like there's always a worse situation. Let's try and support it as much as I can. A lot of money's being raised for them in many, many different areas. Even people just trying to raise a little bit of coin here and there. Every little bit helps.
I saw a really cool movement online where people were trying to support the residents of Ukraine, and they were renting Airbnbs that were not even remotely usable for them because they're in different, cities and countries. But that's a unique way to really impact someone directly rather than even giving out to a charity. I'm not saying anything wrong about giving out to charity. Obviously, the Red Cross and things like that, very, much needed in a variety of ways, blood and money and all that stuff. But I thought that was a cool progressive way to try to give back.
I agree. Listen, 2 comments real quick. The Red Cross, all respect, great organization. The problem is you're $1.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure exactly 10 cents of that dollar is luckily to get to the cause.
A lot of it goes to administrative fees and also to just operation fees. Like it's not cheap to get those people to where they need to be to help. And the issue though is the Red Cross can try to throw a lot of money at a broad subject where it impacts a lot of people, where you're going online, you're giving just to one person. Not everybody can do that, but I don't know, Bruce. I don't even know the whole political situation. I don't. I have paid attention a little bit. I think there's also some truth to the fact that things get presented a certain way depending on which media outlet you're watching. But we can all agree that seeing men, women, and children lose their homes because of war in the modern time is absolutely horrific to see. It's crazy. It's shocking.
It's shocking. And, another thing, too, you mentioned 1.5 million people. TJ, that number now is over 3 million.
Oh, my God.
It's over 3 million people are refugees leaving the Ukraine. Think about it. 3 million. I have not seen or heard anything like this since Hitler raided Poland. And this is very similar to me in aspects of how he raided Poland and then it went on into other countries. When's the last time you heard about people fleeing a country?
I mean, certain war operations you hear about.
War operations. Yeah. What's the last one?
No, I don't recall. And never have I heard a number that big. Like how many people are even in Ukraine? Like I'm going to look up a population of Ukraine.
Look up a population chart and we'll see. But I would assume it's quite a big country.
Yeah, but I mean, 3 million people to have them leave, that's a significant portion of any population.
Yeah, now European leaders are heading in.
44 million people live in 44 million. So
we're talking 10% of the populace, give or take, is already in a flee situation.
Close to it. Pretty crazy.
You commented, and I'm not want this to escalate, but when we first talked about this and I made the World War III comment, which I have no way ever want to see, even think about it.
No.
I'm not the only one making that comment, TJ.
No, but we also live in a world where we get to that quick because we're a bit hyperbolic in our nature. I'm not trying to downplay it. I can't say that this won't escalate to that. There are comparisons to World War II that are brought up. Once one country starts to take over another one, its allies get a little bit, aggressive with maybe their enemies and so on and so forth. And things can progress, poorly and get out of hand. But I don't know, Bruce. I hate to think that that's a possibility, but I guess it's always a possibility. When we live in a world that has nuclear weapons and North Korea is doing all sorts of, intercontinental ballistic missile tests. And I don't know. You think about it too much, you're not going to sleep at night. Well,
there's a lot of things that can keep you up awake these days at night. That's why we all need to have our socialization, our escapes, and our pleasures.
Right.
To balance everything off, goes without saying. But I just hope nothing happens. I mean, it's happening, but I hope it doesn't escalate, and we'll see what goes on. Let's just pray for one thing. I don't want to see China get in this. China steps in this and starts working with Putin. It's a whole nother world. China owns the paper on the United States. You know that, TJ.
The paper? What do you mean?
We owe them so much money.
Oh, yeah. They own like all of our steel as well. Like we sold them all of our steel. So yeah, I don't know. Again, I try not to get too much into politics. It's something that I'm a big believer that when you have a hot microphone in front of your face, you should know what you're talking about. And
yes, of course,
I don't totally know what I'm talking about. And that stuff is stuff that, again, like I look too much into it, Bruce, I just get stressed out. And that's probably not a good thing to be that ignorant because it's anxiety inducing. But no, I mean, of course, I know who our allies are. I know who they aren't. And certain rivals of ours get involved in conjunction with one another, and then our hands are forced. And I don't know. It's a scary time.
Let's just say an old phrase that I think stands true today. Can't we all just get along?
The answer is no, unfortunately. I mean, we can't even get along here. There's still people that want to yell at you for wearing a mask on an airplane. So
yeah, let them try. I can't wait. Okay, I'm at a point now. I might just go off if I deal with any of that shit.
What's funny? Oh man, another customer.
Sorry, there's
Buffer.
certain things that really piss me off in this world.
I hear you. The last few flights I've been on, the flight attendants that give the pre-flight instructions, you can tell they're exasperated with trying to tell people, please keep on your mask. And your mask
so kind, and when they give off the diatribe about the mask, it's like, I was on a plane the other week and I thought, oh my God, let's throw some sugar on this. Jesus, it's sweet, because they're trying everything they can to avoid confrontation.
Right.
Happening,
and the issue that I saw a lot the last trip I had was people wearing the mask, but not over the nose.
I tell people to pull it over the nose. I'm sorry, if I'm sending somebody and it's down on their nose in a plane situation, especially, I politely ask them to pull it over their nose.
So someone yelled at me about my mask on the plane, and I literally had just got done drinking. Like I took a sip of my water out of the bottle, and I put it down, and I screwed the cap on before I put the mask up, and they were already yelling at me, which I let water roll off the duck's back there as quickly as I could. But people are just like they're ready to yell at you for everything, both ways, whether they agree with you or they disagree with you. I don't know. That's what bothers me about all of it. Everyone is just you got to be on eggshells with everybody, it seems.
A lot of tension going on in this world. Speaking of which, let's switch the subjects a little bit. We've already covered Ukraine, and well, to a degree, there's so much that could be talked about there. And I just want to send my best wishes and condolences to everybody over in the Ukraine, and let's support this issue as much as we can. Please, everybody.
What's interesting to me on that real quick last topic is just how much of the world is starting to not do business with Russia. And
Russia's going into an economic downfall.
Yeah. It's because that's the thing too. There are many, whether you agree or disagree with the politics inside Russia, the citizens there don't have much say, and they're suffering because of it as well. And it's I feel for them, because they can't even protest without getting thrown in jail.
The Russian soldiers, the young 18, 19-year-old kids, whatever they are on the front lines, not even knowing why they're there.
Right. Because that's the thing, too. We talk about that all the time. You might not agree with a war effort, but when you're a soldier, you have to do what you're commanded to do. Right.
Which, again, is similar to like in World War II. If everybody thinks that every German soldier was a Nazi, let's say, involved in the genocide, they're completely wrong.
No.
That was down to the SS that was handling all of that. As horrific as it was, and I'm not saying that other soldiers weren't aware, but you're a young kid in your country, even here in the United States. You weren't told to go to Vietnam or something.
My very good friend was a machine gunner on top of a Humvee in Iraq. And he didn't know what he was doing. He had to do a lot of things he didn't want to do. Didn't know why he was doing them, and that's really hard to sort of see. But you're right, Bruce. Like, what are you going to do? Like, that's your job, and there are severe penalties if you don't do it. And like, what would be hard for me, especially with this Ukraine situation, is if you were on the Russian side and you're going through these just communities, these neighborhoods where it's not a military base, but things are blown up and destroyed. And it's like, I don't care what side of the fence you're on when it comes to whether or not you should or shouldn't be there. It's going to be really hard to see a family's home completely destroyed.
It's horrible in more ways than one. I'm getting very emotional about it if I keep thinking about it, because honestly, I do get emotional every day when I read this news. I'm sorry, call me whatever, but that's just who I am. I feel for things.
Well, you're a person. I think most people with compassionate hearts can put themselves in every sort of situation and be like, man, that's a really tough spot to be in.
Absolutely. All right, let's lighten up a little bit. We're not going to start lighting up right away too little, because the subject we're going to talk about is our Superman, Kevin Holland from the UFC, has stopped another crime.
The dude's a superhero.
He's a superhero. I talked to him this morning. I called him after we're going to get him on the show again soon, but I had to call him to congratulate him. He's sitting in a sushi restaurant where he and two others reacted when a guy ran into the sushi restaurant and shot a bullet into the ceiling like discharged the weapon.
Yeah.
And then Kevin and these other two actually got up, grabbed the gun, pointed it away from the patrons, and they subdued the suspect until the police arrived.
99% of people run from that, not towards it. And Kevin Holland has proved on multiple occasions to be the guy you want standing next to you when something like that goes down. And round of applause for Kevin Holland, because we need more people like that in this world.
Exactly. And there's been a number of incidents over the years where MMA fighters, UFC fighters have stopped crime. So good for them. I call them supermen and superwomen. Here's an example of why they are crazy. You ever hear of a thing called a firm called Mandiant?
I don't think so.
Mandiant?
I don't think so.
Well, Google just bought this cybersecurity company, Mandiant. Google just bought them for $5.4 billion.
That's crazy.
That's bigger than the UFC.
Yeah, that's a lot of money. And that also just tells you how big Google is.
Oh, huge. I mean, that's crazy. I think that, by the way, with the stock markets crashing lately due to the, everything going on, Google and Amazon are really low rates. I know it could take a while. We don't know when the market's going to start recovering, but I think from my non-educated this
is not financial advice, ladies and gentlemen.
Stock market mind, I think they're good buys.
And again, you have to be really careful with that. This is not financial advice, but I'm with you, Bruce. When you look at those monsters of Wall Street,
they drive Wall Street.
Right. It's hard to believe that they won't, get back to where they once were and exceed that tenfold, because there are a handful of companies in this country, in this world rather, that will just never stop. And I think both Google and Amazon are likely to be. Yeah.
Not just this country, they're the world.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. I mean, the internet is the internet the greatest invention of all time?
It's one of them.
It has to be, right? I definitely think it's the greatest invention of our time.
Watch Pam and Tommy on Hulu, and I don't think they think it was the greatest invention.
No. You know what's amazing to me is watching that, and I watched it. I saw the finale a couple days ago, and it's done really well. If you have yet to watch it, you're on the fence. Maybe you think you don't want to watch it. It's worth your time. But think about what the internet was like back in 1997, 1998. When they actually got this thing online.
I remember. It in that famous
right. Yeah.
All that noise. Yeah.
So I lived in a small city for like 3 years outside of Minneapolis. It was very rural in Minnesota. And to be online, Bruce, we had to pay an internet service provider, obviously. But we lived in a city where there wasn't a local telephone number to call in. So we had to pay long distance charges on top of the internet charges for the dial up. And it's insane. Like now, I mean, we have the whole world in our pockets with our phones, but back in the day, it used to take an hour to download a song.
Speaking of phones, back in the days when cell phones got popular and I was, I had businesses, I needed my cell phone, the whole bit. My bills used to be $800 to $1,000 a month.
Right. And you would get a hernia lugging that thing around.
The original Wall Street phone like this.
Yeah.
I mean, they were a little smaller. My business partner used to carry that with him all the time. I thought, Jesus God, I'm not going to carry that thing.
A kid in elementary school that I went to school with, his dad had a car phone. And I think, Bruce, it was literally like $8 a minute. It was something insane like that.
I used to back then too. Exactly.
Yeah.
I dealt strictly for emergencies or calls from mom,
Yeah. Like you don't take that. You don't just chat in the car. On the way to the gas station or whatever back in the day on those phones. No, I mean, I'm guilty of this too. Like I don't have too many long drives where I'm not on a call because of just work or checking in with my wife or, most people, I think talk on the phone more in their car than they do listen to the radio.
Yeah. I just got a new iPhone. I'm having a pain in the butt trying to connect it to the Bluetooth in my car, which I love.
Oh yeah. No, it can be a nightmare sometimes.
All right, so here's another story for you. A freight company in Denver, one of his trucks was broken into and a bunch of boxes were stolen. The thieves are going to be in for a surprise. You know what they stole?
I don't.
Boxes of human heads.
Oh my God.
Human heads that were being sent for intended for medical research.
Yeah. Wow. I don't. I mean, is the penalty for that even higher? I would assume. Because you got to probably have a license to have
grand theft.
Yeah, right.
It's grand theft. It's definitely going to go over the it's grand theft.
You get caught by the wrong cop, you're going to be like accused of murdering those people too, or something. I don't know.
I don't know about that. I mean, they're definitely in medical boxes.
I'm just saying, if you pull somebody over and you pull out a box of human heads, what are you going to do? You're going to pull your gun immediately and go get out of the car.
one way to lose your head.
That's funny.
Yeah, yeah, very funny.
I mean, that's funny.
All right. Tom Brady in the news. He's back.
He never left. I mean,
I know.
This is the issue when it comes to retirements. We see this all the time in MMA. Like I feel like we have to sort of reserve the acceptance of someone being retired for at least like 5 years after they've quit.
Yeah. Well, here's a funny thing. Not a funny thing. The ball that he threw the final TD with in the game.
Yeah.
That was worth 500,000 estimate.
It was.
Now he's back. It's now worth 50,000.
Yeah.
I hope that guy didn't pay over 50,000 for it.
I'm hoping that guy hasn't processed the payment yet. You know what I mean? Like,
crazy.
I'd sue Tom Brady.
No, you can't do that. You can't.
You can sue anybody for anything. Yeah. But I'm just saying, like, could you imagine, like, what do you do in that situation? Like, you just paid $500,000 for something that essentially loses 90% of its value instantly. How could you not be upset? The guy that bought it was probably a Brady fan, and now he can't help but dislike Tom Brady.
I just realized, I didn't realize this. He did pay 500,000 for it.
Yeah, of course he did. That's what the winning bid was.
Oh my God.
Like I said, I hope the payment hasn't processed yet.
Now I wonder what happened to the rookie card that just sold for $2.5 million, give or take.
That's always going to be valuable.
That probably is still be valuable.
I mean, a rookie card doesn't have anything to do with the retirement, the final touchdown pass. Well,
true point.
I mean, I hate to say this, but the guy who won this ball has got to be hoping for some sort of ACL injury on the first play of the preseason or something. And then
you want to make me nauseous. You had to say that. You really had to say that.
Hey,
I suffered 2 ACL losses and I'm still living without one. Please.
I know. But you know what I mean?
By the way, I got to tell you something. I'm so excited. I got in my home gym, right? And I put up my Muay Thai bag and everything because I knocked it down when I was training a few months ago. And
that's how hard you hit. Damn.
I finally got it back up. And I braced my left leg, which is my plant leg, because I could throw every kick. You can name any kick.
Right, you're black belt.
So, with that being said, I went out and I started training. My speed's still there. I was so excited, but because I felt confident because I had the brace on my leg. If I didn't have the brace on my leg, and I had to throw, I'm sure I could still get a few off.
Yeah.
In a situation, let's say if I had to turn 2.
Yeah.
But as far as training, to be safe, I need to brace my leg. And I felt like a kid in a can. I mean, inside crescent kicks, roundhouses, head high, all 3 at a time, Muay Thai, 10 at a time. I could still do a TJ.
Let me ask you this. Do you wear a brace under your suit?
No.
Wow. I thought you did.
No, when I do that turn, when I do everything, I strengthened. My legs have always been strong.
Sure.
But I've concentrated on the strength around. And to be quite frank with you, in the leg where there's no ACL, your scar tissue builds up.
Okay.
Which actually forms as a strong measure. But about a month ago, I was throwing a couple front kicks and then I tweaked my leg to throw around and I could feel the knee go like this. Look at me.
Oh no.
So I thought, okay, let's just be careful.
Oh no.
But I always told myself since I did it, believe me, I'm so good. I don't play soccer, of course. And
yeah. Well, I feel like maybe you're not even aware of this, but I feel like we've had some really big moments in the UFC at some pay-per-views as of late. I feel like you've gotten some air.
I have. I got air last week.
Right. Is it cognizant? Are you aware that it's happening or is it just happening in the moment?
How many times I tell you, I never know what's going to happen until it happens. I don't pre-plan anything. It's like, I'll do that. Even in the old days when I got like 3 feet saying Anderson Silva,
right?
When I jump
right.
Up, I'd hit the ground, walk into the octagon. Did I just do that?
See, but I feel like you made a conscious decision to try to stay grounded for a while because of the knee issues that you've had.
I did.
And now you're just more confident or the emotion is getting. Yeah. I feel you. I feel you. Like that's one thing too. I've been really fortunate to be in the building for the last 5 or 6 UFC pay-per-views. And we all talk about what it's like to watch fights in the Apex and you don't hear the sound like you do in a big arena. But one thing that I will say, and I forgot about this all throughout COVID, is just the energy you feel, not even when there's a big moment, but just being around that many people on fight night. There's an electricity in the air. And obviously it's, you're at the center of it all in some of those moments. Of course, you're going to, let it fly, if you will.
Oh, it's incredible. A friend of mine joined me for UFC 272 in Vegas, and she was saying how, all the events she's been to, she'd never quite felt that kind of energy ever at any event, even like a rock concert. It can actually beat the excitement of a rock concert.
I think it's bigger than anything, Super Bowl included, because again, there's something about human beings in combat. And
always is.
When it's a stick and ball sport or a rock concert, it's a show. Don't get me wrong. It's exciting, but there is an element of you have no idea what is about to happen. And that is the most exciting thing in the world. Spontaneity and the unknown is what drives adrenaline.
Agreed. And speaking of spontaneity and the unknown, Deion Sanders has been dealing with for his turf toe and everything since he just had to have 2 of his toes amputated.
Yeah, and
I came down to that. He lost
heard him,
his battle.
I heard him talk about it too, and it's really hard for him mentally because he was the fastest player on the field,
supreme athlete.
Always a guy that was one step ahead of everyone. And he said that he looks down on his foot and he realizes that his toes are gone, and no one else can even know that necessarily when he's wearing shoes and things like that. But he said it really messes with him. It bothers him. And I can't imagine what that's probably like to endure emotionally.
It's completely understandable. Completely understandable. Speaking more in sports, Russell Wilson, you never thought he would have left Seattle. Denver Broncos.
Yeah.
Broncos.
And that AFC West is just a stacked division of quarterbacks at this point.
He must have got one hell of a contract.
Yeah. And I mean, I don't want to say like I feel bad for Russell Wilson by any means, because I don't, but the amount of pressure that's going to be on him to perform in Denver, it's going to be intense. He's going to have to really rise to the occasion. He's
a supreme mental athlete.
Yeah, for sure.
He will rise to the occasion. Whatever the outcome, he will rise to the occasion. Speaking of, looking at your feet as a supreme athlete, having 2 less toes, Tony Hawk, the skate.
Oh, I saw this. Yeah.
He's 53. I appeared with him a couple years ago and we got to know each other. Super, super down to earth, nice guy. Anyway, broken like in multiple breaks or something.
Yeah.
I mean, again, he's out there doing it, but it's a severity, and it's a broken femur, and it's going to be much harder because of his age. He's 53 years old.
If you remember, Frank Mir broke his femur in the bike accident that he had. He was on the shelf for a really long time.
Well, they question his ability to even come back.
Right. And that's the thing about Tony Hawk. Like what he's doing, he's an aggressive type of skater and really skates, fearlessly at times. Sure, he might skate again, but it's probably time to stay off the ramps when you're in your mid 50s and you've gone through these, because he had a really bad fall, I think a couple of years back again as well.
He did.
That's not that's not an old man sport. You know what I mean?
Clint Eastwood once said in one of his movies, one of his Outlaw Josie Wales movies or something, I forget, or Dirty Harry, he said, a man needs to know his limitations. And it's very true. Listen, I wake up every day ready to conquer the world, that I can do anything, but I'm realistic. I got to be real. I'm going to be 65 in May, and it's like the turned ankle takes 4 days, not 4 hours.
Right.
It's just a different thing. And don't put yourself in stupid situations.
Yeah.
I have nothing left to prove. I've fought more than I can remember. I've surfed bigger waves more than I can remember. I've had all these amazing experiences. Do I want to still do them? Yeah, I'm game for all that. Okay?
Right.
But you got to realize your limitations.
Yeah, no. And for a lot of people, the limitations come in their late 30s, early 40s. So, the fact that you're doing what you've done, into your 60s and Tony Hawk as well, that's a win in a lot of ways. But like you said, Bruce, know your limitations. Don't put yourself in a situation where not only will you not be able to continue to do the activity that you want to do, but your quality of life is compromised in a way where you're just not happy.
I've already been there. I've been interrupted by like I said, the severed ACL. I don't want to go through that. I've got a family to take care of. I've got my business to take care of. I want to be on. I just want to be healthy. And again, my personality is go out into the fight, go out into the big wave, go out, do the 3 feet of air in the octagon and all that kind of stuff, but just, I'll still make it exciting no matter what. It's all good.
I've talked to a lot of athletes and just, everyday people that have had issues with their knees or backs and necks and have gone south of the border to get stem cells done. And I believe it's called PRP.
Well, no, PRP is blood spinning.
Okay, that's different. But the stem cells, I hope we can get to a point where that medical technology is available here in the United States. Well, it's definitely not available if you don't have insurance.
Well, yeah, you got to have. I'll
you know what I'm saying?
Because I've had all that done. I've had stem cells and PRP cocktails put in my knees, put in my shoulders.
How much has it helped you?
Rogan talks about it. Many other athletes, fighters, Chuck Liddell, you name it. I know tons of people have done this. How much?
Yeah.
The last time I did it, and I got a good price for but insurance didn't cover it.
Right.
Knees and shoulders for a cocktail of PRP and as the stem cells they offered at the time was roughly $8,000 to $10,000.
Right. But how did it help you? Was it worth it? Because people, I mean, granted, generally, if it doesn't work, people aren't going to be telling you about it. But the people that have told me that it's worked, they say it's life-changing.
I definitely had a benefit from it. There's no question. But you do have to go back and get it done again every couple of years.
It's a maintenance type of thing, right? Yeah.
Yeah. It depends on the severity of what you're going through. It's kind of like getting a steroid shot in your back. If your blood waves are screwed up,
like a corticosteroid, like cortisone,
like that.
Yeah, no, I've definitely heard from people that have had severe mobility issues that get it done, and they get a range of motion back that they never thought they would have again.
Yeah, so if it works for you, it works for you. And hopefully soon it'll be working for everybody. But,
But at $10,000, if you don't have insurance, Bruce, or insurance doesn't cover it, my goodness, that's not on the table for so many people.
It's not on the table for most people. It's too much money. Yeah, I agree. But you know what? When it comes to your health, I mean, I make money to take care of my family and their health. Well, I got to take care of my own health.
And if you're not healthy, you can't make money.
I can't make money.
Yeah.
Well, I can. I can sit home and.
Well, of course. But I mean, you can't make as much money.
I know what you mean. Of course. Hey, on collectibles, the Wizard of Oz, the Tin Man's oil can, was up for auction.
Okay.
They expect that to fetch $200,000.
Yeah, but then I heard he came out of retirement, so price going to be knocked down.
Right. I didn't get that till just now.
It wasn't that funny, but I see. The collectible stuff. That's one thing that we've followed throughout the pandemic. It's been really crazy to see some of that stuff and how it's just gone bonkers, way up in price.
The Prism case, I signed a deal with Prism. I'm going to be personally signing 2,500 trading cards that'll be distributed by the end of the year. That's a lot. Can
you bang that out in an afternoon? Like how long does it take to sign
2,500 cards?
I mean, you got to get a lot of cramps.
2 sessions of sitting down for like 2 hours.
So does the signature quality change from the beginning to the end? Because I got to imagine
there'll be little differences, but I sign it in a way that it's definitely my signature, but they'll all be relatively the same. I have one signature. It's a little scribbly, but it's there. Have
you seen the video of Conor McGregor signing posters where it's kind of like a C, but he just doesn't even look what he's doing? It's like, I would probably never buy a Conor McGregor autograph. I'm not an autograph guy to begin with, but I would never pay the money for it because they just look so different because he's so nonchalant with it.
If you get a COA, which means certificate of authenticity, you're good.
Right. But I also want people to look at it and know what it is rather than have to look at the certificate.
Many signatures you do not know. It does not spell out the name.
Right. I mean, I'm crazy about my signature. I love my signature. I put a lot of effort into it, and I'm not signing autographs, but like most of the show, when I'm sitting here, you see me writing stuff, I just sign my name over and over again.
There's the one they put on my can, right? If you can see it.
Yeah, we can see it. Okay, I mean, I have your signature as well, so I'm very familiar with it.
Hey, speaking of which, of my puncher's chance and the energy and everything else, this is what we're coming out with. We're coming out with 175 bottle of the regular puncher's chance in a larger bottle.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
What will that retail for?
I'm not sure. I mean, if it's third, this looks like probably retail for in the area of $75.
How about this signature? What do you think of that?
Very nice.
See,
I mean, it's obviously yours.
I should have played baseball.
You're what?
I should have played baseball.
Well, could you? Were you good?
I mean, not well enough to sign autographs for people, but
okay. Try signing autographs in baseball. That's one of the harder things. It was actually the hardest thing for me is when people send me a microphone. Oh,
how do you sign a microphone?
Well, you sign it on the side, but I just was at the mail house.
But it's rounded. I mean, a ball's rounded too, but like, wow, that'd be tough.
But these bags come in with 4 UFC gloves, a sign or this.
Sure.
I know I'm going to see this on eBay in a week.
Of course.
The notes they put in, like, sure, some of them very sincere and you can't help but want to sign for them. But I know when I do this out of the courtesy of my heart, I'm just making people money, or maybe not, maybe just signatures. But I can't tell you how many times I've gone to eBay and seen the same stuff I signed right on eBay in a week.
I mean, I've been to many fighter hotel, and you got the guys out there in the lobby with 20 8x10s of fighters that are on the card. Yeah. And I always loved Tim Sylvia's move. Sylvia would wait for someone to come up and ask for an autograph, and he would demand that he personalize it.
Yeah, that's what I do too. I mean, that's the only. But then I find they're personalized and they're on there for sale.
Really?
Yeah.
Why would you want an autograph personalized to something, unless it was personalized to a celebrity or something, and it makes it more valuable?
That was their original reasoning, and that was it. So it's hard for me to say no. I'm always polite.
Sure. You don't want to be an a-hole. And that's something that, again, you're very cognitive of. But like, if someone comes up to me with a stack of 20 photos and they want me to sign all of them, like, that's just rude.
Well, yes, it is rude. And I'm sorry out there, please. You have to understand it is rude. This is our time.
Well, these athletes are paid to do that at times. Like, you can do autograph sessions where you're paid for your time.
Right. And at the same time, nobody wants 20 pictures of TJ DeSantis for themselves.
No one wants one. My wife doesn't even want that many.
Me for themselves either. Let's be real.
Right. Okay?
Yeah, totally. Hey, the Rolling Stones are coming out with another tour.
Of course. I mean, they're going to tour until they're all gone,
14 shows.
Are they still all alive? Are all the original members still alive?
Yeah. Well, you're missing the original drummer, I think, from the original members from, like, the 70s and 80s. Yeah.
Yeah. Like when they were making their active hit records.
Ron Wood.
Yeah. Okay.
Keith Richards, Jagger, they're all there.
I saw them in 2016. And it was one of the best shows I've ever seen in my life.
One of the best shows I did. Who opened them up for them? Not the Allman Brothers. Oh God, one of the big bands. Anyway, I had a great time at that concert. I'm forgetting what it was, but it was very cool. And I remember I had dinner beside Ron Wood one night. He was, he's an amazing artist.
Oh, really? I didn't know.
Oh my God, he's an amazing painter. I knew him back when he was with Rod Stewart and the Faces back in the 70s and the 80s before he joined the Rolling Stones. Amazing guitar.
So the Rolling Stones have a very special place in my heart. The song "You Can't Always Get What You Want."
Right. There's
a line in there about Mr. Jimmy in the drugstore, and he wanted a Coke. His favorite was Cherry Red or something like that, and he didn't get a Coke, and he told Mick, "You can't always get what you want." Like that. That's a story that allegedly happened in my hometown. Of Excelsior. The Rolling Stones played there in 1963, I think, and they got booed off stage at this place called Danceland in Excelsior, Minnesota, right off the shores of Lake Minnetonka. And apparently Mick had this interaction with a guy named Jimmy, and I met Jimmy. Jimmy was like the town ambassador. He was a guy that wandered the streets and said hello to everybody. And what I do know, I can't validate if the story is true or not, and Mick has never acknowledged it. But whenever the Rolling Stones came to town, there was a car sent for Jimmy, and Jimmy was brought to the show.
That's interesting. There was I had I just brain farted. I had a thing.
Rolling Stones doing another show.
Yeah, that Prince. I told you this before. When Prince first appeared in California, down in the San Bernardino area, as a warm up to the main event, they booed him off the stage. He went on to become one of the biggest stars ever.
My mom used to clean his house.
Wow. Everything was purple.
Did I ever tell you that? I mean, I don't know if everything was purple. But yeah, so I grew up, my house was literally a mile and a half away from Paisley Park.
I remember you telling me that. I didn't know your mom cleaned it, though.
Yeah, Mom, she worked for a maid service that was brought in like twice. He had a house closer to where we lived from Paisley Park. He actually ended up tearing down the house, Bruce, because he was never there and the taxes were too expensive. So he just tore down the house and kept the land and then moved into Paisley Park.
I believe it. I got to tell my coworker, UFC Heidi Dean, about that. She is such a big Prince fan. It's incredible.
Hey, I never told you that. This is probably right before we were recording one time. I went to the gas station and he was coming out of the gas station.
You told me that story. Yeah.
Yeah. A very, very short man he was.
Very short. 5'4" maybe.
Yeah. And he smelled like lilac. I don't know why. Or lavender. Sorry. Lavender.
Well, pretty soon you'll be smelling like Buff when you get your gift.
I can't wait. Can you tell me like what sort of vibe the cologne is?
Yeah, it's got a nice, beautiful, wonderful vanilla type
Okay,
smell
I
to
like
it.
that. Vanilla's clean.
If you've ever smelled Obsession, which was my favorite for 20 some years, this
Mhm.
has taken it over. It's even better.
That's great.
So,
I can't wait.
yeah, the beautiful thing about it is that women want to wear it too. I didn't create it as a unisex, but it came out and we knew that they would love it. But everybody from the Octagon girls to even Kristen has said that they would wear it.
Well, there's a way, there's a transfer situation that they can wear it that way too. You know what I'm saying?
Of course. Of course.
Yeah. No, it's weird. People don't really like think about this, but like I'm a big cologne guy, and I find that I'm the only one of my friends that is really into. I like to smell good, Bruce.
There's no harm in that. You know how I am about that. It's take care of yourself. Again, people take care of themselves for us, like the girls we date or the girls we meet. We have a right to. Come on, man. I mean,
well, especially like I think you'll get behind me on this. Like when you're getting on a plane, and you're traveling as much as we do. The only thing I really, really want that I'm pretty, a stickler about is I just want to be clean. I just want to get on the plane and be clean. And there's nothing better than smelling as clean as you can.
And nothing better than just a good solid shower. Okay.
That's true. That's task number one. Anytime I land,
you don't want to take what they call a French shower, where you put cologne in the air and run through it.
I mean, when in Rome, you might have to do things like that. I almost got stuck in an airport the other day because the plane was oversold and there was weather. But yeah, Bruce, I'm very particular about. I'm always conscious about how I smell.
Always time to wash your pee-pee, TJ.
All right, we didn't need to go there, but sure.
Well, who does
that's true?
No, I'm just joking.
I'm kidding.
Okay, so all right. Did I tell you about the story of the man who won $10 million in the New York lottery?
No,
he did a scratch off. He won $10 million in 2019.
They make a scratch off that wins $10 million.
He just won $10 million again. And he hasn't even spent the first $10 million. He won it twice.
Wow.
Both on scratch off.
How does that happen?
I don't know. That's got to be $1 billion to 1, $2 billion to 1 chance.
Do you know anybody that's ever won the lottery or hit a scratch off?
I did. I won the lottery. I looked at my ticket one week and I actually won second place in a huge lottery.
Really?
Problem was the ticket was from the game before that week. I picked it up. I was so excited for 10 minutes that I saw the date on it. I'm like, dang.
That's funny. That's funny.
Literally, it would have won me second place in the lottery. That's my closest to winning the lottery, aside from a $10 or $20 ticket.
I mean, that's closer than 99% of the people that play the lottery. My mom won $10,000 on a scratch off when I was in high school, and that was amazing. But you know what? You don't realize, and we've talked about this. They have that show on TV that basically chronicles how lives are destroyed when people win significant amounts of money. But my mom won 10 grand and walked away with like 5,000 something after taxes are taken. Like you don't realize how much is taken before you even touch that money.
Well, because immediately the 10 grand payment puts her in that 48% tax bracket. So.
Right. No, but it's crazy. It just comes right off the top. You don't even have to pay it. Like
she'll get a return. Nice thing is she'll get a return at the end of the year if she's due one.
Well, this was back in 1998, so that's already settled.
Well, hopefully she got a return back then.
I'm sure.
Hi, TJ. I got to leave for London tomorrow. I got a lot of stuff to do today. I want to go train for a couple hours right now, like I usually do after a podcast. So let's sign off. Please tell the audience whatever's up.
Let's see here. I just got done with the Eddie Bravo Invitational in Cancun. In a fantastic show, which you can watch on UFC Fight Pass. Make sure you have the subscription up to date because there's another show that I would love everyone to watch on Friday night. Jorge Masvidal's Icon Fighting Championship #2 will take place in Miami. I'll be on the call with Pearl Gonzalez, some really fine up and coming mixed martial artists who are trying to make their name for themselves. They all go to war, and it's always a fun time. And again, Fight Pass, the biggest no-brainer when it comes to premium services in combat sports. $10 a month gets you access to 25 plus events, it seems, almost every month. And of course,
$9.99.
Right? Yeah, $9.99. Shit. Yeah, yes, sir. But you also get that archive of the WEC and the UFC and Pride and Strikeforce and everything.
Amazing value. Amazing.
Yeah, the tagline is basically every fight that has ever mattered is archived for you on UFC Fight Pass. So go over there and step into our world.
Exactly. Totally true. All right, TJ. Well, for me, I'll be in London. I'll see you all from the Octagon on Saturday. The O2 Arena sold out within minutes. They could probably sell another 10,000 tickets.
Patty the Baddie's on this card, right?
Yeah, I got Patty Pimlet, the baddie, Patty. Casula Vargas is his opponent. Arnold Allen and Dan Hooker. Dan Hooker going from lightweight to featherweight to fight Arnold Allen, who is ranked number 7 as contender. You got Volkov and Aspinall. Volkov, the number 6 contender in the heavyweight division, against Aspinall, the UK fighter, at number 11. It's a solid card. You got Paul Craig. Paul Craig always, of course, is going to be on a UK card. Molly McCann and Luana Carolina. Molly's always so much fun to watch. And Gunnar Nelson, he's coming back against Takashi.
That's great.
Soto. I haven't seen Gunnar in a long time.
Gunnar's a guy that unfortunately I don't think has lived up to his potential, but that's more of a statement of how good he really is, rather than him not, being a great fighter. He's a phenomenal fighter. Excited to see him.
But you know what? He's from Reykjavik, if I say that correctly, in Iceland. And I was watching The Bachelor, which I've been. My neighbor friend is the one of the producers of The Bachelor, so we talk about it. I've been getting a kick out of spinning, fast forwarding through it. But this guy, he's openly pledged love to 3 women, slept with 2 of them. The third one left. Now she's coming back. It's like, I'm asking myself, how do you tell 3 women that you're in love with them? I can understand the intimacy with 2 of the 3 because you're dating and
you lie. Out, that's what this guy's doing. He's lying.
I don't know. Tonight's the finale, and I know this show will be on after the finale. And I'm not one of the guys that watches these kind of reality shows, but Kristen gets a kick out of it. And
sure.
We talk about it together. So.
Oh, hey, real quick, we haven't talked about this. Speaking of reality shows, big congratulations to Misha Tate, who won Celebrity Big Brother.
Yeah, that's a big thing. Good for you, Misha. Very good for you. And listen, I want to mention a couple other. The Bachelor, just watch it for shite and giggles. It's fun. We talked about Pam and Tommy. I've mentioned that the Secrets of Playboy is very disturbing.
I haven't watched it because of that warning, Bruce. Like you told me about
very
it. Very
disturbing.
I don't know if I want to watch it.
And I'll say it again. This is back in the 70s and 80s when I had friends there. I had a girlfriend that worked there. I used to go to it was a place to go to. It was back before the clubs that are around today were open, back in the disco days and everything else. So it's interesting and extremely disturbing. That's all I can tell you.
Yeah. Is it something that I should watch towards the end of the day because it'll ruin my day?
Well, it depends on you as an individual, but if you have sympathy for what women go through, or
for example, the Jeffrey Epstein documentary on Netflix, it was like a limited run.
And watch this when you watch that. Okay,
yeah, because I couldn't, if I watched that like over lunch, it felt terrible the rest of the day. You know what I mean? So
yeah, this has its moments. That's all I can say.
All right, I'll get on it eventually.
Watch it, and we'll talk about it on the show when you watch it. Okay,
we'll do.
We'll have Sammy on. We'll go into it a little more. So
sounds good.
All right, everybody. I am off to England. It's time to hit the air, become the UFC road warrior that I used to be, am, and still will be. And I will see you all from the Octagon. It's ESPN Plus. Let me check here. What is that? Yeah, ESPN Plus. I'm not sure of the times it will come on. I forget when we're starting. We're probably starting very late in England, so you get to hear it at a decent time in America. And it'll be a good show. Be a fantastic show, actually. It's going to be so much fun to be there for the fans of the UK, COVID or not.
They're going to go insane, Bruce. They've been waiting for far too long for a UFC event to come back.
It's going to be insane. The hotel is going to be insane. I'm going to see my partners in It's Time Energy into Cologne. I've never met them in person, and I'm so excited to go over and meet my partners because that's where they're based. So exciting trip for me, and I'll be back. And then next week is Ohio, which is going to be a big show also. All right, TJ, listen, have a great day. Everybody out there, please set your goals, write them down, learn about them. So when you set on that golden brick path, you be the best you can be. And by performing the best you can perform, whether you're number one or not, number one being great, of course, then you're winning because you're being true to yourself. That's what we're all about. Honesty, be a role model to your sphere of influence, and be the best you can be in this world that we live in. That's all I can say. Stand tall. Have a great week, everybody. I'll see you from the Octagon on Saturday. Bye, TJ. Take care. Buffer out.